It's cold out here. Why are you punishing yourself? Like, oh yeah, you don't want anyone listening to your conversation with the people. Right, let me get serious. This is my maybe 5th attempt at trying to film this today. I've been trying, you guys. I have been trying over the last couple of weeks, and it's just not working out. It is not working out for me, and we've resulted to this. And I don't even know if this is going to make it to the internet, to be honest. I'm doing this because after expressing my feelings to my friends on my socials, a lot of people's advice was just turn on your camera and talk as if you weren't going to upload it, and decide whether that is something you want the internet to see, and if not, that's okay. At least you've managed to get it off your chest. And thank you guys so much for your recommendations and for all the kind messages that people did send me. Even though I wasn't out there like crying for help, I was actually just saying that I can't create, and I guess from my energy and what I was exuding through the screen, everyone could see that I'm not really myself, and I'm not having the best of times right now. Fun employment, more like, okay, I can't think of anything clever right now. Maybe if I do whilst editing, I'll put it in here, if this makes it to the internet. So this whole employment, job hunting journey is the least of my problems at the moment. At this point, I just don't really think about it, because an old friend once told me, once you apply for a job, forget you've even applied and just move on to the next one. And that's kind of the attitude I've decided to adopt with all these applications. It's in the air now, up in the air. I'm not going to think about it, and if they come back with good news, then it may even be a shock to me, because I will have forgotten that I even applied. So but that's not why. I'm down, and I've been down for the last few weeks, months, to be honest. It's just, I guess they call that the post-grad moving home depression. But I don't want to say that I'm depressed. That's such a strong, term, and I don't want to downplay what depression is, because people really are suffering. But I will say that I'm very, very down at the moment, I won't lie. And I think it's a lot to do with moving back home. And that's not to say that I don't love my family and being back here, but the transition from living on your own, being in charge of your life, and being able to do things the way you want to, having your own space, to coming back to a full house, adhering to new rules and regulations, and outgrowing your childhood home is a lot, guys. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about how I'm feeling. I wish there was someone else here, someone else in my situation that I could talk to, and we could bounce off things to talk about, but it's just me here. Everyone in the house has not just graduated from uni, unfortunately. So yeah, please comment down below and let me know I'm not alone in feeling this way. But it's a lot, and I just wish that parents would make it a little bit easier on us, because to not only graduate and come back home, but to do that and do it in the pandemic, in a recession, in probably the worst year ever. You can understand how heavy my chest is right now, navigating this newfound adulthood and trying to find my feet in this big world, whilst also ensuring that I do my duties in the house and blah blah blah, whilst also still trying to be there for my friends, and to be a good sister to my siblings, and be a good daughter to my parents, and just do all these other things. I'm not coping, I'm not managing. It's heavy, and it's a lot for me to bear. And I just think, how do I say this without really getting into my own issues in my life? I kind of want to generalize here, because I know I'm not the only one that's going through this. I've had several conversations with friends in similar situations, and the general consensus is just hope we get jobs so we can move out soon. And that really saddens me, that we all kind of want the same thing. We all just want to move out of our parents' home, get as far as possible kind of thing, because that shouldn't be the case, you know. I don't think that should be the norm, and that is. And I see these conversations that people are having on social media all the time, where people are having to compromise whether they want to have their savings in their account to save up for like a nice flat or house one day over their mental health and their mental stability. And then there's those that have taken the plunge and have dipped into their savings and have used every last penny because they would rather be broke but have their own space than live under their parents' roof because of the stress and strain that comes with it. And I'm like, what? It made me think, like, is it not possible to have both? Is that actually not allowed? Like, is that asking for too much, that I can't live in? And this is not me speaking about myself, by the way, I'm just generally speaking. Is it too much for one to ask to just be able to stay, to come move back home from university and be able to live under their parents' roof with that mutual respect and living in harmony while still being able to save up for their desired home that they want to live in one day? Why is that actually so rare to find? And if you are in that situation, really do count your blessings, because yeah, it's rare. So I just want to know why that's so normal. Like, why do we find it so hard? And I'll speak for my community, my people, Black Africans, because majority of my friends are Black and African, and they're the ones that I speak to about these things, because I know that my white counterparts don't necessarily have this issue, the ones that I do know, because I think it stems back to just the parenting style and the way that you're brought up. And I have always admired the relationship that white people have with their parents, because it's a very open and honest one. And even though, you know, growing up you would think, oh my god, like, Tom is so rude to his mom, like I could never blah blah blah, but like, Tom is also able to tell his mum exactly where he's going when he's going on a night out. Tom is able to tell his mum when he's feeling down and depressed because of X, Y, and Z. Tom is able to tell his mum if he feels as though, and you know, this isn't, again, I know it's not the case for every white person out there, but for the majority that I grew up with and grew up knowing, that was the case. Able to open up to their parents about their issues and their problems, because they knew that they wouldn't be faced with backlash and judgment, or wouldn't be faced with Tom's mum calling Tom's friend's mum to talk about how much of a disgrace Tom is and what shame he's brought upon the family. Because from what I saw, the parents respected the children enough to know that their problems were issues, and yes, they were young, but they didn't ever belittle them, you know. And I think that has always been a problem within our community, amongst us as Black people, and that is generally where a lot of problems stem from. I just think that sometimes parents don't respect boundaries with their children, and especially when you've come back from university. I'm now a grown woman, I am 23, and in, you know, in a parent's eyes that's still like nothing, you're still a baby, and I understand that. I am always still going to be your baby, but you also have to understand that I've now experienced a lot of life, I've experienced a lot of things that you just don't know about and may never know about. But have that in the back of your mind when I come to tell you that today I'm not, and by the way, these are just, it's not all, like, the examples I'm giving are not like directly mine. I'm just taking them from different places that I've heard things and the conversations I've had with friends. So yeah, when I come to tell you that, you know what, today, or if you come to my room and you find me in my bed and I have not come out of my room at 4 p.m, please understand that it's not me being lazy if I tell you that I'm actually just not feeling very great today, because the job hunt is exhausting and I'm actually feeling, you know, really troubled about it or something. Like, that's just an example. Please listen and hear that, because the same way you as a parent have your down days. I'll give an example. When you're younger, right, you ask for something minuscule, or you say something that's not even that problematic, but your parents' response is just so unwarranted, like it doesn't even correlate to what you were saying, and you're thinking, what did I do wrong that mum has just lashed out at me in the way she has, or, you know, even hit me because of me just saying, can I go and play out with Tom next door? it's those same problems that you were dealing with internally that you couldn't tell your child about, but you've now decided to take it out on them, whatever. Those problems you have in your head you need to remember, are the same kind of problems that your child may also be dealing with now. May not be on the same level, but it's like the same idea, you know. We all have things we're battling, regardless whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, whether you're an elderly person. We are all battling something, and so it's so important to be kind in the way that you approach people, to be kind in what you say and not make assumptions, because not everyone laying in their bed at 4 p.m, 5 p.m. is lazy. They may be depressed. And that's another thing I want to touch upon, is mental health. This pandemic has probably exposed a lot of issues that people have been harboring and have been able to hide from their families because they had work to go to and they had all these social gatherings where they could probably use their coping mechanisms. But being stuck in the house without, you know, whatever it is that they, maybe substances that they would normally take to hide these issues, or just the social gatherings that you can use to escape everything, you don't have anymore. So a lot of families are seeing a different side to each other, and it's a lot, because what do you actually do at this time when you don't really know how to even take that? You don't really know what to even say. As parents especially, a lot of parents' first thought would just be that, you know, you're just deciding to rebel against us. You want to just disgrace us. You're not the only one going through what you're going through, so can you please just get your act together? Why don't you take time to actually speak to your child? Why don't parents take time to actually have a grown, and I'm talking about people who are, you know, around my age, or 21 and up, because 21 is when most people anyway, 22 will move back home and stuff, or finish uni. And yeah, why is it so hard for parents to just have a conversation with their child about things that they may be concerned about? Why must you jump to an assumption that your child is just inherently bad and that's why they're doing what they're doing? You're the one who raised them. So for you to think that your child is just bad when they're doing or saying something out of character, doesn't that just mean then the way you raise your child was bad, and that questions your parenting? But you're not going to look at it that way. You're just going to look at it as, I did my best and I was the best parent ever, and this child's just gone out to become a bad child. No, your child is just going through things, and right now all they need is a listening ear. Same goes for parents and children, by the way. This isn't just an attack on parents, it goes both ways. But I find that, and I'll talk again about my community and my people because I can't speak on anyone else. And in most African cultures, it's so unknown for a parent to really open up to their child and just tell them what's weighing heavy on their heart, tell them what problems they're having, because parents know best, children don't really. Because of that idea that adult conversations must remain amongst adults, and children don't know much and they can't really add any value to the conversation. And it's so far from the truth, because you don't know how much wisdom lies in young people, and there is so much that we have learned, and especially for us first generation children, we've obviously grown up in two separate worlds, but there's things that we will have learned in this Western world and this culture that we can actually teach you about, that can help you as parents and help you navigate whatever issues you're having. It's not everything we'll know, but you're always learning. Like why they say it's so good to be cultured and travel out of your hometown so you can learn something different and grow from an environment that's not your own. It's the same principle. It applies, because in the schools and the curriculum that we've grown up learning from is very different from the ones you will have grown up with, and so we can always bounce the ideas off of each other, and you would never know that because you don't trust that we as children have the wisdom and knowledge to actually help you. And I would urge parents to actually take more time to talk seriously with their children, not just about the feelings that I've been talking about, but like real life things. I feel like another element that parents don't really love opening up, they don't even like it, that they don't like opening up about, is finances and, you know, this expenditures in the home and things like that. And I think that's definitely a conversation that shouldn't be a secret amongst family. If you're living under one roof, again, I'm just speaking generally because it's definitely something I've noticed amongst my friends, my peers, my community, that we just don't know what our parents are even, how much our parents are spending on certain things, how much our parents are like earning, how much our parents are blah 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 blah. Why is that a secret? I understand when you don't have to tell other people, but within a household, why would that be something that's not openly discussed? Because we are all using these appliances, we are all eating that food out of the fridge. So surely it should make more sense to have these conversations with your children so that they know and understand the value of money. They understand that mommy goes to work and earns this, daddy goes to work and earns this, so that this can be paid, and this is the price of this, so that there's less left over for food, for trips, for that and the other. And obviously there's a certain age where you shouldn't, or where you should start speaking to your kids, and I think below, personally, I think below the age of like 16 is a bit too young. Or maybe, because 16 is when you start working here in the UK. So I think that should be the age where parents should also start opening up to children about the price of things in the house and how much is actually being spent and blah, 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 and budgeting well, and bringing your children into those conversations so they can even learn early on for their futures. I think that it's just something that needs to be spoken about, and I can't really understand why it's so taboo to talk about those things. I don't get it, and I think that also causes issues because of the fact that parents carry such a heavy load and so much stress about things, and finances being one of the main ones. A child will never understand why they can't have A, B, and C. There's some parents that are very open and honest with their children, like, Tommy, you can't have that toy today because, you know, we need to pay the gas and electric and the water bill, and there's just simply no money left for that. But next month, if mummy has some money left over for it, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like in our community, the instant response, if a child was like, Mummy, I want that. No, you don't think, blah, blah, like, it's just berating a child and using this language that serves no purpose and serves nothing to the child, but them now thinking and taking those words in and believing that they actually don't think and they don't know anything because mummy says so, and you don't even understand how damaging the words you're using on your young children are. And this is just me now ranting and going on because I've seen so much in my time, but I have seen so many things that, like, growing up from several different people, I just do not agree with. And with that, so I have rambled a bit there, but with that said, doesn't it then just seem easier to explain why you can't give your child said gift or said toy that very moment, that month, because this and that needs to be paid for? And obviously these are kids, and I'm using a toy analogy isn't really making sense, but like, you get my gist. Like, had you just explained why in a very calm way, like, there's simply no money for this, that, and the other because this needs to pay for, your child then understands and it registers. And children are like sponges. When you start treating and speaking to them like adults, not adults per se, but like adults, that's the only way I can describe or think of it, they will start understanding and processing information in that way, and it makes your life so much easier because they can understand better. And in the future, when they go shopping, they will remember that conversation that you had about said toy or whatever, because their request would be, Mummy, if there's money left over from the shopping, the food shop, would it be okay to buy that bar of chocolate? And then that way you even feel like, wow, you may not even have it, but you even feel more willing to give your child that thing because you just feel so proud that they understand and they're being so considerate in their requests. So I don't know, like, where this conversation that we're having right now is going, but I just think there's so many things parents can do to make life easier for themselves, and it all simply starts with communication and the communicating style that parents choose to have, because talking is just honestly the best way to understand one another. Communication in that way is key. Like, we all know that in every relationship and friendship, when you communicate effectively with one another, you will live in harmony and things will be dealt with a lot quicker and smoother than not communicating. So where is this going? I don't know, but it's just me trying to just get things off my chest. This has been a bit of therapy for me as well, I guess. But yeah, I just want better for my people. I want better for us going forward. I want us to improve the way we treat one another, improve the way we treat our children, improve the way, in turn, children treat their parents. But this conversation is mainly for parents, because we as children, we love you. There's no way a child is born inherently bad, is born to want to disgrace their family, is born mischievous, rebellious, all these negative adjectives. There's just no way. But a child can only reciprocate what is being done to them. Anyone, most human, is in human nature that we will reciprocate what's done to us. If I go out on the street, take a walk to my local shop, and I see someone on the street and they look at me and they smile, my instant response is to smile back, unless of course I've just got problems and then I decide not to. I am shivering, it's getting very cold. So in that way, if you talk to your child with love and care and treat them with mutual respect, of course you're going to receive the respect back. And these things, I feel like why we have such a hard time back to moving back home and stuff is it boils down to the way we were brought up and the way we communicated as a family. And again, not speaking about my family, but within my community, the way we communicate. And some people feel as though there's just no hope, and at that stage everyone's too old to unlearn these toxic ways. I don't believe that. I very much believe that with prayer, with the right kind of help, and by that I mean therapy, because another thing actually that isn't very common in our community is seeking professional help. We don't believe that in these mental issues that people have as a community, really and truly. Like, it's rare to find that a Black African family all attend therapy or have all attended therapy because they knew that their mental health was being tested and they wanted to improve their relationship, so they all went to seek therapy. That's very rare, but I think it should be the norm. And I know therapy is not cheap, and it's not always professional therapy that you need. There is even just talking therapy amongst yourselves as a family, taking that step to actually want to sit down and address certain issues that are in the family. That always helps as well. But it also, in order for you to get there, you first need to understand and respect one another's opinions and issues and whatever you're going through, in order for you to know that, okay, we can sit down and effectively do this. Because if you don't respect how so-and-so is feeling, if you don't respect how this person or what this person is going through, then there's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to sit down and have a civil conversation with them about it, because you don't even see their problem as a real problem, and I want better. Like I said before, I just want better for us as a Black people. I just want better for my community. I want better for my people. I definitely think for us in the diaspora, we really should be seeking to learn a lot from our counterparts, because yes, of course, there's so many negative things that they've done to us and that this community, this place, this Western world brings, but there are also a lot of positives that we can take from it. And I definitely think one of them is the way in which they take mental health very seriously, the help that they seek for themselves and for their people and their community. again, the parenting style in that parents from a very young age will respect their children's opinions, their feelings, what they say, and they'll take it very seriously. I think these are all things that we see every day, but it's like we're refusing to just to recognize or to adopt. And there's no harm in changing your parenting style from what's the norm in back home in your respective cultures. There is absolutely no harm in it, and I just wish if just one parent can take something from this is to be brave and take the plunge and make the change that you want to see and break these cultural whatevers and these generational curses. Not to get too deep, but I think that it starts from somewhere. If just one person's able to say, no, I want to make that change, and do that, that would be amazing. And it would really just serve you well, serve your children well, your community, and you just don't know what you might be doing. And I know for sure within me and my generation and my people, we are doing things differently, and we're learning from the mistakes that our parents have made. We're also adopting the positives that our parents have given us. I'm sorry, it's obviously very late and I'm just losing my train of thought, but maybe when editing, and if I can think straight, I will add in and edit things that just don't make sense. But yeah, again, we'll see if this makes it to the internet. If it does, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, it's quite a long one, but it felt necessary, and I actually feel really good that I've let that off my chest and just talked about that, because yeah, it's not very nice, it's not nice to have these never-ending conversations with friends and see these never-ending conversations on Twitter threads and blah blah blahs. I want to see some, and they are positive stories also. I know this video has been, focusing on the negatives and stuff, and they are positive stories. They are families who are doing things differently and are thriving, and I love that. And I see that from time to time, but it's the odd few. It would be like once every blue moon that I see that. So I want to just see more of that. And if you are in a family that's like that, and you have any tips on how you deal with issues in the home and how your family have overcome things, and you want to give other people tips, drop them down below, because it's good to help. And there's no shame in admitting that we all have our issues. No family is perfect. So you watching this thinking maybe, oh my god, how can she come on here and blah 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 blah, and this isn't me airing any of my dirty laundry, because I'm not talking about my family and my family issues. I'm just addressing a general issue that I've noticed amongst me and my people, and there's just no harm in having these conversations. So yeah, I'm getting very cold, so I'm gonna wrap it up. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next one. Bye.